All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Phil Gallagher, and I run Thraben University. Today, we're going to be streaming with something a little bit special, something I haven't really messed around with before. We are going to be playing a Cloudpost ramp deck. This was a donation deck list, and I'm pretty excited for this because we've got some unusual cards in this deck list that I've never played with before. So, generally speaking, the way that the Cloudpost decks work is they're a mana acceleration deck. So Cloudpost enters the battlefield tap, and you get to add a colorless mana to your mana pool for each locus you control. And Cloudpost and Glimmerpost are both locuses, and Glimmerpost gains you a life for each locus that's on the battlefield. So you have 8 posts in your deck, plus a Vesuva to copy them as sort of a 9th post. So these are supposed to ramp you up and let you go and cast a whole bunch of big cards. So this is a bug deck. The mana is a little shaky, but we'll get to that in a second. So you kind of have really like 3 main options for how you want the game to progress. 1, get to a whole bunch of mana, cast one of these big, stupid, dumb idiots, and win the game. 2, get to a mid-range amount of mana, and put in a Primeval Titan, which can then get you like another Cloudpost and an Eye of Ugin that will go and let you tutor up one of the big idiots to win the game. Way number 3 is to just cast Show and Tell. And you can Show and Tell and put in one of these big idiots, or Show and Tell and put in a Primeval Titan and kind of accelerate along either one of those plans relatively well. And Julian, thank you very much for auto-hosting. I appreciate your support. Now, I've kind of commented on the lands a little bit, but not a lot about sort of the bridge spells. So at 1 and 2 mana here, we have kind of the things that are helping to hold the deck together. We have 8 cantrips. Cantrips are good. They increase consistency. Not a lot to say there. You have Crop Rotation, which, while usually will just be used as a ramp spell, there are some great targets in here. So we have a main deck Bojuka Bog as Graveyard Hate. We have a main deck Caracas to bounce opposing fatties, or to replay our own Eldrazi or protect them from removal spells. There's a Thespian stage in here in case you need to go and get a Dark Depths. You can get a Cavern of Souls to make stuff uncounterable, Glacial Chasm to go and prolong your life. So, like, the crop rotation is great. Yeah, Arkin, thanks and welcome. Yeah, the Premier League last night was awesome. As expected, I lost to Julian in like 10 turns total in the match. And then I had an amazing game versus Malamujo. I'm looking forward to going and watching that replay later. I have some decision points I want to look at, and I kind of want to see how the game was progressing from his point of view. So there are main deck Pithing Needles here, and Pithing Needle's primary job is just to name Wasteland to protect all of your lands. As the game goes very, very long, you become incredibly favored because you have sort of like an incredible endgame inevitability engine in these 7 cards here. So you really just need to protect your land, and it has the upside of being able to just hose random strategies. Aether Vial, go! Turn 1 Pithing Needle. Uh-oh. That's rough. Then there's one other spicy card here. So many times these Cloudpost decks in this other 1-drop slot that's available here, they go and play Candelabra of Tawnos so that they can untap all of these lands. But this deck has instead opted for Navigator's Compass. I'm going to read that one to you because I'm sure most of you don't know what it is. So it's a 1-mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. Tap until end of turn, target land you control becomes the basic land types of your choice in addition to its other types. So this is essentially colorless fixing. This deck produces a lot of mana, but if we look at the count here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of the lands, not counting fetches, either produce colorless mana, no mana, or off-color mana. So this deck actually can have trouble casting its spells. Navigator's Compass is an attempt to bridge that gap. It makes it so that some of your lands that normally wouldn't produce mana, such as Eye of Ugin, now produce mana. It makes it so that you can produce mana with your fetch lands without like cracking them. It kind of turns all of your lands into tri-lands. And like this looks really questionable, but when you consider like, hey, I would like to cast Abrupt Decay on turn 2 when I'd also like to be playing all these colorless lands, especially since some of them enter tapped, like I can see where this card is coming from. It's also harder than you might think to just cast a Primeval Titan, because a lot of these lands don't produce green. Like if we look at the like actual factual green producing lands, it's a Bayou, a Forest, 3 Trops. The Cavern, I guess, also can be on Giant to produce green, but we're really not looking at that many colored sources, so I understand where the Navigator's Compass is coming from, even though it looks just like crazy, crazy weird. So in the main deck, this is not running counter magic. In the sideboard, there's 8 different counter spells that can come in to really attack your combo decks well. There's Hydroblast here for Blood Moon, which is very, very problematic. Surgicals for the graveyard decks, Tabernacle as a crop rotation or Primeval Titan target, and Crossing Grip for the random chalices and such. So I think I've said everything that I want to say about this. I think I just want to go and play some Magic with this and see how it goes. Alright. Structured Tournament. League. That's way too loud. So I don't remember if I mentioned this already, but this is a donation deck list. So once again, I want to thank Lucas C. for donating to make this stream possible. I really appreciate that, and I'm really looking forward to playing around with this deck list. So I'm on the play. I'm going to go ahead and keep this hand. This hand has the possibility of producing a lot of mana and producing a pretty quick Primeval Titan. I will need a second green source in order to do that, though. So I'm likely to go ahead and just lead on my Ponder here rather than anything else. I'm A-okay with all of these cards. So I'm going to put the Ponder as the furthest card down. So that I wait the longest to know what I need to do about it. Because I'm very likely to want to cast Misty, or sorry, to play Pithing Needle and a tapped Cloudpost the next turn. I haven't given the mono black control deck a lot of thought in the post banning world. I sort of have bigger fish to fry currently. I'd be happy to play around with it a little bit. But that's one of those things right now. I would gladly do that as a donation deck list, but you're probably not going to see it on stream, at least before GP Richmond. I don't think I have enough data to know whether or not I need, like, what I need to Pithing Needle here. My opponent can be on Reanimator, and then, like, Pithing Needle Grizzlebrand is pretty good. One way or another, I think I want to wait one turn before taking an action. If my opponent does have a Wasteland, I have Crop Rotation up. to take care of that. Alright, so we're playing against some sort of like Death Shadow Delver deck. Him to Turok, that's fine. There we go, the spells. This is just going to be a shuffle. Let's start getting to big mana. Oh yes, so for anyone who isn't like following me on Twitter, and my Twitter is @mangaralock, by the way. I applied for Twitch Partner last night. My stream last night had a huge number of viewers, and before the stream I was sitting at like 74.5 average viewers over the last month, which was a little disappointing because I got the notification that I got the achievement for hitting 75 average viewers, and geez, another him. I hope that doesn't take my Misty. All right, good. So now I have access to like double colored mana, so I can cast a Primeval Titan if that's something that happens. I guess I'll play the Misty first. I guess while my opponent doesn't have to Stifle up, I should go ahead and fetch. This is probably just them shocking themselves. Okay, so they are not Bug Death Shadow like I expected. They are Jund Death Shadow. I don't know that there's any reason to fire that lightning bolt off at me there, unless they have something like a Bedlam Reveler. Because there's some cases where they'd want to bolt themselves to lower their own life total to make their Death Shadows bigger, especially if they have multiple Death Shadow. Static Gripped, I am currently not working on any merchandising. That's not to say it's not going to happen, but it is not at the top of the list of the priorities right now. Alright, that's pretty annoying. That sweet, sweet Navigator's compass value. I'm probably past the point where I can win this game. Like, I'm going to get clocked quickly by the Tarmogoyf. The Liliana will ultimate, you know, on the following turn. And I'm just going to lose 2 to 3 lands. Yeah, I think if, like, as long as the Liliana pluses this turn, which I don't see why it wouldn't, I think I'm just dead. All right. The compass is mana fixing. That's the long and short of it. So we're playing against Jund Death Shadow. My opponent had a lot of discard that game. I think under a more normal game, I'd probably be okay. Like, I don't know how much I actually want to sideboard. I think almost nothing. Like, the Deluge is probably fine to get rid of some creatures. The Tabernacle's probably medium. It might be good in case my opponent has something weird like Goblin Rabblemaster. Which they probably don't, but even just, like, taxing their mana so that they can't just, like, hymn me into oblivion is probably okay. But I don't know that I'd actually, like, want to, like, bring in Flusterstorms or Forces at all. So what's bad? Let's figure that out. Yeah, most of these cards seem like fine. Maybe I'll cut, like, a Navigator's Compass. Pachuca Bog's kind of medium. I guess it takes them off of Delirium for Traverse. And shrinks Tarmogoyf. Is that enough value to just have another tapped land? Maybe not. Maybe I do something like that. I could also see just, like, cutting one crop rotations. But all in all, this something approximating this is probably fine. I expect to see not as much legacy coverage as I want to see. That's about what I'm expecting. So this hand's awkward. I can't actually cast these decays. I don't have a show and tell target. But I do have, like, 3 lands and show and tell, and I can stop Wasteland, one of the best cards against me. If I keep this, I might just get eaten alive by discard, though. This is really unimpressive. Okay, if my opponent just has, like, pinpoint discard spells, then this is all fine, right? Because there's nothing in my hand I overly need to protect. I'm going to keep this. I think if my opponent has a discard spell, the first one is forced to take show and tell. And then I do have these decays around. And assuming I draw either a compass or another land of any nature, I can cast these decays. Since the black mana is harder to get than the blue, I think I'm going to go ahead and get a blue-black land here. Static Crypt, I'm reasonable. I would love to see an entire Legacy Pro Tour, but I have a feeling we might see less than 1/3 Legacy on coverage. Would be my guess. Our opponent figuring out what their opening hand actually looks like. Cards like Street Wraith and Gataxian Probe kind of make it so you're not exactly sure what resources you're really operating on. Okay, so this is the sort of situation I was talking about. So my opponent opens on a discard spell. They basically have to take this show and tell out of just absolute fear. And that leaves me with, like, 2 decays for their initial threats. Rats. Malamujo, we're playing Bug Cloudpost Ramp, featuring Navigator's Compass as mana fixing. We're currently down a game versus a Jund Grixis Shadow list. Or, sorry, a Jund Shadow list. Alright. So decay is now a thing. Alright, Duress gets a decay, which I can't currently cast right now, so that's fine. Really hoping to just, like, top deck a show and tell and put in this Emrakul, and then not get Liliana. That's a key. Yes, this is match 1 of the day. We are currently down a game versus Jund Shadow. This deck has so much discard. It's very problematic for me. I would have just considered getting another Wasteland there if I were the opponent. Yeah, a cantrip would be great. I'd love to just find a, cantrip into show and tell. So I can't crop rotation into Abrupt Decay this turn. I can do that on a following turn, though. So I can go, like, end of my opponent's turn, crop rotation away Cavern of Souls, get a black-producing land, then Abrupt Decay Death Shadow. Fuck. Well, alright. Guess that's happening. Not much I can do about that. Oh shit, you're right. I could have crop rotation for... No, the bog's not in the deck. I boarded that out. So I didn't miss that. So I have crop rotation for Glacial Chasm available to me, but doing so would be very detrimental to my mana development. Like, I'd have to sacrifice a land. So I could go crop rotation for Glacial Chasm, sacrifice Glimmerpost, and then leave myself with just Tropical Island. I don't think that's good. I think I'd rather just give myself the out of getting Show and Tell. Okay, fine. Going for Glimmerpost would put me to 21 and leave me at 1 life. Oh man, a Show and Tell. That will get there. So I can put back Titan and then Glimmerpost on top, play Vesuva, copy Tropical Island, draw Show and Tell, put in Emrakul, and get there. If my opponent has like a Lily or another Edict, that's bad, but otherwise that seems pretty great. So I want to do this way. I guess I can copy an Overgrown Tomb to get black mana, in case that becomes relevant. Opponent's thinking. I don't like that. This is game 2. I am currently down a game. I'm still okay, like, taking some more damage here. Alright, there's the Liliana I was afraid of. Now I shuffle away that Primeval Titan. Don't expect the Magic UI to be good. I don't really think I have any top decks that get me out of this now. Oh no, I guess I can top deck Deluge. Deluge for 10. I think top decking Deluge is my best out, and if I pay for this, I shut off my out to both of these Death Shadows. The Liliana is tough to beat, but is potentially beatable. I'm gonna say no here and try to top deck Deluge like a boss. Nope. So if I had paid, let's see what my next draw would have been, because I could have Pithing Needled the Lily this turn, and then I'd draw Crop Rotation. That's not getting me there. So, Honk, going for the Emrakul is sort of like an immediately going for the win thing. Going for the Primeval Titan is trying to make the game go longer, and I don't know how favorable that actually is for me, given how tenuous my current position was. Like, if my opponent has a Lily and I, like, Primeval Titan and just get 2 lands, that doesn't actually put me to the point where I can cast that Emrakul, and I'd also be shuffling the Emrakul away. So if I got the Primeval Titan, I'd probably get, like, a Cloudpost and an Eye of Ugin, and I would, I think, not have enough mana to activate the Eye of Ugin yet, so I don't know if that's actually better than what I did. So I think this one is a keep despite being slightly awkward. The Navigator's Compass will give me the mana fixing I need to cast these spells, and I have the potential to just show and tell Emrakul very early. Okay, so I have a turn 1 choice, and the choice is, do I just want to play Navigator's Compass so that I get my colors, or do I want to play Pithing Needle on Wasteland now? Because my opponent could have Chalice of the Void, and I might not be able to like play a bunch of these cards after this happens. And I think I actually play the Navigator's Compass first, because if my opponent does Chalice, the Abrupt Decay +1 land would get me out of that. But someone in the chat says it's better to shut off the Wasteland. I guess if I only need to draw a blue source to get Show and Tell, that's probably fine, and you might be right. I'm going to agree with that. Alright, there's a Thought-Knot Seer. That probably means my Show and Tell is just eating it. Yeah, it's really useful to watch how other people think about playing a deck. Like, I'm a very, very, very experienced Legacy player, but that does not mean I'm a very, very experienced Cloudpost player, because that is certainly not true. So consider my hand Bear with 2 guns. If my opening hand did not have that compass, I probably would have to mulligan, right? I have 2 colorless lands and no cards that I can actually cast. The compass means that I have some fixing. I don't know that the compass is better than other options, but like I understand the role that it is filling. Alright, so we did successfully shut off Wasteland on turn 1. Alright, turn 2 Thought-Knot into turn 3 Reality Smasher. This is the Eldrazi Dream. Alright. What can I do with my crop rotations? My army, my kingdom for Amazabeth. Yeah, like I guess I have to crop rotation into Glacial Chasm. No, I don't have a maze. So I can crop, like I can play Misty, use Navigator's Compass, tap it, sack it, cast, get Glacial Chasm, sacrifice a Glimmer Post, and buy a lot of time. God, I want Maze of Ith. Okay. I don't think I can just take 9 here. So I think it is Glacial Chasm time. It's just super unfortunate. My opponent's hand is very good. If I were them, I'd probably just take the Emrakul to shut off, like, drawing, like, land into Show and Tell. Yeah, so I really only lost 1 mana-producing land instead of 2 because of this Compass. Okay. Life's pretty bad. No bueno. Yep, I teach Latin in Roanoke, Virginia. I want to turn that into an island. And then I'm going to pass the turn. All right. So just kind of again, notice how good things that attack the hand are against this deck. I felt rough. All right. So I probably want these 4 cards. I don't find that I'm really wanting to, like, sideboard a lot with this deck. I played a couple of matches in, like, the tournament practice room just to, like, make sure I understood how all the cards worked, just, like, in terms of the Moto interface. And in the matches I played, I usually was only sideboarding, like, 2 cards or something like that. So I probably don't need my Bojuka Bog here. That can go. And then I probably just trim some stuff. Well, I did play against Eldrazi previously in the tournament practice room with this deck, and I noticed that Chalice kind of stings a little bit, so I probably should do, like, I probably need to bring in the Krosan Grip since I have, like, 18-ish 1-drops, and I'm probably going to trim some of that. Like, I'm probably okay with, like, trimming a compass. Probably like trim a rotation. Maybe a second crop rotation. Like, I understand that crop rotation can be really good against wastelands at like the perfect opportune moments, but I think a lot of times I'm going to be like tapping out to play like needles, compass, ponder, show and tell. So I don't know how often I'm actually going to have my mana being held up at the right moment to do this crop rotation thing. So I'm a little skeptical about like the Navigator's compass, but like I absolutely understand the role that it's playing. I don't know that better options exist because like unlike a lot of the other options, this one is just at 1 mana, and that's pretty huge. Rough. All right, this is just cast turn 3 show and tell. That is the plan. Chalice is fine. Morning, King. Sweet part is, like, even if my opponent Thought Knot sears me, that's not good enough. So my opponent will Thought Knot me, and I guess take the Kozilek, and then I show and tell in Primeval Titan, and get some sweet stuff. Now, bear with two guns. The person who submitted this is in the chat. This is a serious deck list from them. In before my opponent just has like Endbringer here. Or just Caracas. That'd be equally devastating. Yep. I'd like to play against some decks that can't attack my hand so I can actually get to do fun things. Well, I was just thinking about, like, Vesuva copy Caracas, but I guess I don't need to do that now. I could copy an Ancient Tomb. How does that work out? So my opponent hits me for 7, I go to 4. If I draw Primeval Titan next turn and I do copy a Tomb, I can cast that. So I guess that is good, because that's the only line that allows me to actually cast a Primeval Titan if I draw one. What more is there? Oh. Well, that's really good. That means even if I draw Titan, I'm... Oh, okay, no, that's not true. I've got outs. If I draw Titan, I can get a Glacial Chasm. Well, we tried. This is sad. I won all my games in the tournament practice room that I played. So, womp womp. Starting out 0-2 in this stream. Buck Nasty, I haven't done much in either of the two games that I've played. My hand has been very aggressively attacked by Thought-Knot Seers, Hymn to Turok, and Thoughtseize in the last two matches, so I haven't really gotten to showcase what this deck can do. Okay. I have a hand that can produce a lot of mana. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this. We'll see where this goes. I don't really have a bit of gas right now, but I'm pretty sure there's cantrips in my deck to find gas. I can't confirm. Haven't seen many of them. But they should be there. Hey-oh! Gas! Come on, Hymn to Turok me. Just Hymn to Turok me. Just do it. Do it. Fuck! Again! Again with the discard. Fuck! No! Bear with two guns. I think it's time to move on to a different conversation topic. I don't think you guys are getting anywhere with that. Okay, so what do I want on the battlefield? I think I want the Verdant to guarantee that I can cast this Abrupt Decay if I need to. You don't sacrifice you don't sacrifice the compass. Ah, yes. The argument is crushed now that I've read the card. So basic planes, it would not be unreasonable for my opponent to play Liliana of the Veil, for example. That is a big fish. Boy, I wish I had a maze of it. Oh god, Snapcaster him. Okay, so it's probably time for me to like cast all these spells. I can double crop rotation and get 2 Cloudposts. I think I like that. So I think I double crop rotation away Cavern of Souls and whatever land that I fetch with Verdant Catacombs so that I can still cantrip. And then I'll have 10 mana, so if I go and get something like an Olamog, it's good. Post and I might be too slow, right? Like if I get post, like say this is a post, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's only 5 mana. So I'd have to go like land in order to activate it. I guess post plus I is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. Alternatively, I could like decay the Snapcaster and just rotate once. So I have land, but the hymn's on the stack, right? I think I go for post and try to spike it this turn. As a force of will, this would be rough. Okay, good. Or that's actually kind of hilarious. Alright, so I have 3, 6, 9, 10. I have 11 mana this turn. I guess I can play my fetch so that if I draw a cantrip next turn, I can try to cantrip into a big fatty. So, Claire Bay, we are playing a Bug Cloudpost deck. Well, still alive. So that's nice. I got that going for me. Uh-oh. Hey Mike, this is a donation deck list. This is not the norm for me. So again, I'm not really sure how many cards I actually want to sideboard, right? Like, I don't really want to play Force against Pile. I'm a little bit scared of something like a Blood Moon. I'm probably not going to sideboard too many cards. You should take a look at Wilson Hunter's version of the deck that runs Blood Moons. I don't know that my opponent's version does, but it's probably something that I need to at least keep the possibility of in mind. So I probably can't like board out all of my decays, for example. So I can needle Planeswalkers, so those are still fine, even though they're not gonna like hit Wastelands. I guess I could bring in like some limited counter magic to try to fight back against opposing counter magic. I don't love crop rotation in the face of counter spells. So maybe I'll trim some of those. I'm also thinking about the Tabernacle. I don't think I want it on the play, but I might play it on the draw. Just like making them pay for their value idiots every turn means that less of their mana is used to do things like him me. I'll keep this. This is a hand where I'm kind of just hoping to hit an early show and tell to show and tell in Primeval Titan. So it's kind of a mulligan to 6 since I have this Glacial Chasm here. Actually, I should have boarded that out. That card needed to go. This isn't the matchup for that. That's a lot of land. Just going to go ahead and pass there on all those lands. Like, while I'd probably be okay with one more land to get my second colored mana for Primeval Titan, I don't just want to draw 3 lands in a row. I'd much rather draw something like a Cloudpost. Please him me and take the Glacial Chasm that I forgot to sideboard out. That would be great. Okay, thanks, bye. Bitter Blossom. Alright, that's kind of rough. I played some very... Well, I got absolutely demolished by Julian, and then I played some awesome games versus Malibu Joe. They're worth watching. So I'm going to preemptively stop this, like a Liliana of the Veil from coming down, because that's something that would be very detrimental for me given my current hand. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that matchup from the other side.
If you're familiar with Julian,
What am I pondering for if I ponder? Show and tell, I guess. Ooh, is my opponent thinking about just like countering this ponder? I would be fine with that. I would also love to find a Cavern of Souls with ponder. Then I can just like put Cavern on Giant and go Primeval Titan into Primeval Titan over the next few turns. Okay. I see. That makes more sense now. That was not something I played around. And I wanted to wait on my late land drop to see if I drew like a Cloudpost. So I'm thinking about like playing Vesuva tapped as a Glimmer Post here versus playing Bayou. I think I want to play Bayou so that if my opponent hymns me, I have guaranteed access to green. So how's my clock doing? I can just get rid of the Bitter Blossom because every turn that just adds one more damage to the clock, or I could just like get rid of the click. Does my clock change? So right now my opponent's hitting me for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 14, 21. I'm dead in 3 turns. If I get rid of the Bitter Blossom, if I get rid of the click, I get hit for 4, then 5, then 6. So that's more turns than just that. Getting rid of the click versus the Bitter Blossom gives me one more turn, but the Bitter Blossom is more annoying as the game goes longer. I probably need the game to go longer to win. So my opponent will take a Primeval Titan here. I'll probably just Vesuva a Glimmer Post for my turn. And then we have Glacial Chasm as the oh shit button if necessary. And I think playing out Vesuva on Glimmer Post now. Yeah. Opponent has opted to leave me with both. The information might be more valuable than just giving me one random card, even though like Primeval Titan is a very good card. Like I technically can't cast either one of these right now, so I do need to like draw another land to start casting Primeval Titans. So if my opponent just like takes one Titan away and gives me a land and they can't answer the first one of these, that's pretty bad. Alright, my opponent did leave me with a Primeval Titan. So if I draw a land here and I go land Primeval Titan and my opponent doesn't have force, I am really in this game. Yeah, Cavern would be the best possible draw. Ponder. So I don't really want Bojuka Bog. put the Misty on top and then take the Brainstorm. I won't shuffle. This way, if my opponent hymns me, my fetch land is on top, and I can fetch away the bog. God, I hope my opponent takes the Brainstorm. Please take the Brainstorm. They did not fall for the trap. So I know I don't want this bog that's on top. How much damage am I taking? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm taking 8 this turn. Probably going to need 2 different good cards in order to win. So I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm and get the best of the cards that are here. Hey, a Titan. So probably want to shuffle away these 2 and play Misty. So I'm sitting here thinking about this because, like, I do have another option, and it's like put back Bog and Misty, play Glimmerpost this turn, so that I can put Primeval Titan on the top of my library and protect it from discard. Then, if I do so, I take 8, I go to 4. Then my opponent will have 9 power the following turn. If Primeval Titan attacks, can get like double Glimmerpost, gain like 10 life or something like that. Or like Glimmerpost Vesuva. That might actually be better. Oh shit, I didn't do what I wanted to do. Talk through line, just not do line. Alright, not punished for it, so that's nice. The opponent will probably just, like, hard cast a Force of Will and make me cry. Yep. Alright, let's play a deck that can't attack my hand. How about that? I mean, Tipsy, I just want to, like, play Magic and try to execute my game plan. I've not even done that a single time yet. Like, even if I just, like, play against a combo deck, I get to board in 8 counterspells, and, like, I can show this deck attacking from a different angle. Like, that'd be nice. Not doing a good job at all of, like, showcasing this deck. There's been so little to talk about that chat's talking about whether Lotus Petal is a better card than the Compass. We can do better than that. Alright, so while we wait here, for anyone who doesn't know me, hello, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University. Today we are playing against all sorts of hand disruption decks. While we're playing this sweet Cloudpost deck. All we want to do is play with these big, fat, awesome cards. And we just have not succeeded in executing our game plan. So we are currently 0-3. We are in the For Funsies bracket, and we're going to try to get some people. So Static Grip, to break that statement down a little bit more, I would say that this Bug Cloudpost deck is much more fragile than, say, like the Eldrazi Post deck. That's kind of the impression that I have. Like, I'm much more terrified of sitting down from Eldrazi Post than I am this deck. It feels like I'm stumbling a whole lot. I mean, Thalia, Guardian of Thraben is best hate bear. Like, it's so insane. But I can understand people liking cards better than that. But as far as, like, objectively speaking goes, Thalia is bae. Like, such an incredibly powerful Magic card. So I think my opponent has been playing Ant. I am on the play. Against Ant, I really want a quick show and tell hand, which this is not. This is like turn 1 fetch, play Compass. Turn 2, Compass, Ugin, cast a couple of Brainstorms, see where it goes. I don't have any main deck counterspells to interact with them. So, like, my game plan versus Ant would just be go faster. Go faster means show and tell. But is me mulliganing away from 2 cantrips better than just having it? Probably not. Yeah, we are hardcore getting bullied this league, that's for sure. We're going to cast this before playing another land, you know, exposing it to something like a Daze. But I'm fine with that, because the upside of being able to shuffle away some of the clunk in my hand is very, very, very high. I'm going to assume that my opponent just, like, ran to the bathroom rather than is thinking about whether or not to counter this brainstorm here. So I don't think I want this decay. And I think I'll shuffle away either a land or a piece of fat here. Probably this. This Titan probably wins me the game. Maybe that's not true. It's a really good follow-up play. So I guess it doesn't really matter what land I get since I have Navigator's Compass. I was thinking, oh, I need double green, but I already have that from the Compass. So we're going to look for show and tell and try to hide it on the top of my library. Hey, Eric, welcome. We're waiting for a ponder to resolve. It's taking a long time. While I'm willing to accept the ponder, I don't really want double land here. So I think I'm just going to shuffle. Peak. So what does that mean? Instant speed miracles, maybe? Peak indeed feels scary. Is this just like some new amp tech? I'll peek at your end of turn to figure out what I therapy on the next turn. Arkin, we are a mighty 0-3 in this league. We are getting wrecked by decks with hand disruption. In before Cabal therapy. Sorry, it was Thoughtseize. 4 for 4 on discard decks. I'd certainly play White Eldrazi as a donation deck list, and I may play it of my own volition at some point, but right now I have like serious testing to do with D&T. So almost all of my streams will be D&T except for donation decks and follower goals. So Monday night will probably end up being Goblins because we hit 1,200 a couple days ago. Yeah, I also kind of think that my opponent should have taken the Brainstorm. I also don't know what's taking my opponent so long to click OK to cantrips. Well, that's abysmal. I couldn't even leave that on top to try to protect it because I just need to fetch away the 2 lands that are on the top. So Eric, I have applied for Twitch partner. I hit my threshold number last night. I was sitting at 74 out of 75 before the stream, and so I easily got there last night. So they said it takes about a week to process applications, so I should know by about next Wednesday whether or not I've been accepted. I imagine I will be. I don't know why I wouldn't, but I don't know, all the details of their selection process. So my opponent should be able to just go Infernal Tutor, or Infernal Tutor, for Infernal Tutor, kill me. Okay. So now I get to board in a different way, so that's nice. And I'll actually, board a real number of cards. These 2 are things that I'd consider. So this isn't really a Pithing Needle matchup. I can only Pithing Needle their fetch lands. That doesn't do what I want it to do. So those can probably go. This isn't really an Abrupt Decay matchup either, so those can go. Could probably cut 1 random land. These 2 I'm unsure about. The Deluge might be too much, but I don't hate having the Tabernacle. Yeah, I haven't succeeded in, show and tell for Primeval Titan take over the game yet. That's sort of unfortunate. I think I want to keep all of my crop rotations for, Bojuka Bog reasons. I think I'm okay bringing this in to hedge against goblins. And then I don't know what the last couple of cuts would be. I don't have stage depths in here. I just have a stage. Maybe I just like trim. Maybe I trim a compass, trim a crop rot, and trim one cantrip. I don't know like how many lands I can safely cut without like hindering my deck. Oh, maybe I don't cut a ponder for my blue card count. This hand's very medium, but I have like 2 pieces of free interaction plus a brainstorm. So I don't think I can throw this back. I'm hoping to not brainstorm on turn 1, but if my opponent fires off a discard spell at me, I pretty much have to. You haven't mentioned that you hated Compass. That has not come up yet, no. Please don't just be land. Well, shit. So I think I want to shuffle away a land. So I think I'm going to put back Trop and then put Ponder on top, and I'll show them the Force of Will. If they want to take that, that's okay, because I can then actually use my turn to ponder and do something more proactive for my game. That's no good. So I regret putting back the Trop over the Tabernacle. I probably should have just like put back the Tabernacle and just said like, yeah, whatever. If you make some goblins, you make some goblins. Because like having the Tabernacle in hand means that they're not going to like go for goblins at all. This is a donation deck, so this is why I'm playing what I am playing. Come on, show and tell. Do I even play this Tabernacle? I don't think so. My blue card count isn't actually all that high for force. That is worth noting. Alright, opponent now knows about my force of will. Alright, that might be the end of my surgical. And I could just die here. There's some value in, like, representing a blue card there, but I just need to try to kill my opponent, and I have no way to do that right now other than casting Primeval Titan, followed by, like, Olamog and blow up 2 of their lands. I'm down 1 hypothetical land drop because I opted to put back a Trop over this Tabernacle, but otherwise I just haven't had the opportunity to do much. Again, this deck is just super soft to discard, and those Thoughtseizes and Duresses have just murdered me. So King, I do it for $12. That's the cost of entry to the event, because most of the time I'll do 3-2 or better. So most of the time, like, my entry into the event is, you know, kind of paid for by my performance, and then the $12 just you know, is what I actually make from doing it. Or when the stream goes poorly, then, you know, I've paid for my entry fee, and, you know, I've provided some entertainment to everybody, and that's fine as well. As we wander closer and closer to Emrakul activation. Or Ivugan activation, sorry. This is pretty miserable. Oh, Myth's still, like, the 1 mana enchantment thing. Myth Realized. There we go. That's the card I was looking for. Oh yeah, I'd totally play that. I've actually played some of that in paper. Not a lot. I played it for like 2 weeks. Verdict does not protect from Wasteland. I looked that up. Alright, so the bad news is I can't cast Primeval Titan. The good news is I can cast Force of Will. What do I even copy? I guess Trop. No, I'm going to fetch two things. I should just copy Glimmerpost and gain some life. Well, Peak is playable in that my opponent is playing it. So we can say that. So next turn I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 if I draw a land, so I can't Olamog next turn. Like my ideal situation would be drawing a blue card so that I can play Primeval Titan with Force of Will back up for whatever my opponent actually wants to do with their mana. Yeah, Eli, my opponent is on Storm, and it is not looking good for the home team. I think I need to bluff that I have a blue card for Force of Will and play the Primeval Titan. Yeah, they're playing Peak. They're doing their own thing over there. All right, opponent, what are you thinking about? You just have like ad nauseum, and you're thinking about casting it, just a hard cast ad nauseum. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This will be 9, 10 mana no matter what I get here. So I want to get Bojuka Bog to muck with my opponent's mana. And, well, by mana I mean like Cabal Ritual. And then I think I'll get a Glimmerpost to make it just slightly harder to kill me. Alternatively, I could just get double Glimmerpost and gain 8 life, go to 29. But messing with the graveyard's probably better. So I haven't played Pauper in like 5 years, but back when I played Pauper, I very much enjoyed the format. I really liked the like the Crypt Rats deck that was running around then. Had like Crypt Rats as a sweeper, and cards like Chittering Ratch, Kuambaj Witches, and a lot of cards of those natures. I had a lot of fun playing with that sort of stuff. But outside of Magic Online, there's really not a good outlet for Pauper unless you have a local game store that supports it. And my aunt opponent is like halfway to timing out just because they're just taking so long in all their decisions. It's not that hard. Like, unless they're new, I don't know why these things have been taking so long. I'm gonna sit here and pause for a minute like I'm thinking about this. Yes, Eli, I played a little bit of Standard. I played Standard off and on for a few years. Super casually when I first started playing, and slightly more competitive when I moved to Maryland. And I played Standard competitively for about a year, like truly competitive, not like I show up to F&M. But like I started doing like Standard IQs and such, and did relatively well with various like blue-white control decks featuring Snapcaster Mage and Sphinx's Revelation. But once those sorts of like super powerful cards rotated out of the format, I just like never found another Standard format that I liked nearly as much as that. We've surgical nothing, Goblin Lackey. Both of those surgicals were just taken. So, sorry, Ark, I don't remember if I answered that or not. Yes, I will be playing in Richmond. So that's just at the end of the month here. So is my opponent just going for baby tendrils here? Or do they have, like, Past in Flames as well? If they have Past in Flames, I just die. Well, we tried. Alright, chat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 2 is 8. We are currently 0-8 with this deck in games. I'm going to use the bathroom real quick, and then we'll see if we can at least take down a single game with this deck list, or if we are just getting swept. Alright, I'm back, everyone. Hello, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University. Today we are playing with a bug Cloudpost deck. I say playing, but we're mostly just getting our butts kicked. So, we've played against 4 discard decks in a row, which is a big part of, like, why we're doing so poorly. So I'm hoping to get, like, paired against something reasonable, like a Rug Delver deck or something in the last round, so I can actually showcase what this deck is capable of doing. Yeah, I'd be happy to do an Infect stream sometime. That would be a great donation deck list. If I did that, I might invite Nick Miller over and see if he would co-stream it with me, because, you know, he's a local, he has a lot of good things to say. He'd probably give me some good advice. Yeah, Eric, I don't often see this side of the bracket. So I think I had a Soldier Stompy stream go about this poorly, although I was at least winning games there recently. Oh yeah, Infect is Nick's primary deck. You know, if you Google his name and you take a look at the IQ results, it's almost entirely Infect. He plays some other things too. Like he owns Ant, he owns Food Chain. I think he owns Delver, but he's an Infect guy at heart. Do 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 do. I think we're playing against another discard deck. I think we're playing against Ant again. I have no manipulation with this. I have no threat with this. I just produce a bunch of mana. I kind of want to keep this and just like play Pithing Needle on turn 1 on Polluted Delta. Am I running Polluted Deltas? Is that a card that's in my deck? I have 1 Polluted Delta. Alright. This has a show and tell. That's half of a card that matters. I'm going to put that on top. I may not keep that Ponder. I might have to like fetch and brainstorm to hide this show and tell. Should have just blind named that. So now I have Brainstorm up to hide show and tell, or potentially look at the third card down to see if it's Force of Will if my opponent starts going off. Ugh. It occurs to me that since I'm in game 1, I don't actually have access to Force of Will. That's in the sideboard of this deck. So, at my opponent's end step, I'm pretty likely to Brainstorm and then Crop Rotation to shuffle. I really don't want this Glacial Chasm. Dark Depths is not in this list. Cabal Therapy resolves. You go for it. Oh, and Haystar, looking at your last comment, yeah, my channel has grown a lot. So I'm pretty consistently at high viewership now. I am really lucky to have the fan base that I do. Young Gross, if I were to add another land to this deck, it would be Maze of Ith. So Eric, I think D&T is going to be very good. We might see like multiple copies of that in top 8. Please go for a Past in Flames kill and let me get you with this Bojuka Bog. Please, please, please. Oh, God. Oh, God. Sorry, Eric. I'll answer the Pro Tour question again in a minute. All right, ad nauseum. You got it. All right, I probably have some time now because my opponent's probably going to need some time to think. Does that put me dead? Oh, man. Again, please, Past in Flames. Oh, my opponent just discarded their hand. This is just tendrils. If I hadn't have fetched at this game, I could Crop Rotation for a bog. And unfortunately, this is loss of life, so like Glacial Chasm doesn't cut it. Alright. So Tabernacle's probably fine. Fluster Storms and Surgicals are probably fine. So I could have bogged to turn off Spell Mastery, but since my opponent had the LED on the table, they still had enough mana to just Tendrils me. So let's go Compass and Needle out, Glacial Chasm out, and Abrupt Decays out. I think it is absolutely absurd to guess that Burn would be in the top 8 of a Pro Tour, especially a Team Pro Tour. What group of, this hand's insane, what group of players would really want to say, you know, I think Burn is the best deck in the format, and I'm willing to gamble both myself and my 2 teammates' chances in the Pro Tour on it? I don't think that's reasonable at all. So I'm actually going to hide both Flusterstorms right here. Because I really don't want those to go down the drain. So more seriously, I think D&T is a good choice. Miracles is probably a good choice. Eldrazi's probably a good choice, as is Sneak and Show. I don't think Rug Delver is as good as people might think it is. I just think very powerful decks that are well positioned, like, for example, Eldrazi, Sneak and Show, that have like nice, linear, strong plans are probably a good choice. And then more generally, I think decks like Death and Taxes are very well positioned right now. And Miracles is probably a nice, safe choice as well. All right, so my opponent took my Ponder. We'll play this game nice and slow. I'm willing to cast this Ponder to look for a land. I think that's very important at this stage of the game. Those are multiple lands. That's pretty good. So I'll put the Surgical on the bottom, and then take the other 2 lands. So if I take the Cloudpost that's on top of my deck right now, I can then crop rotation for another Cloudpost to actually cast the Primeval Titan a turn or 2 down the line. I don't really know if I can tap out for this Primeval Titan. I mean, I could see Infect being a sleeper pick, but I don't really see a real reason to be playing Blue-Red Delver right now. I've seen almost none of that online. I kind of want to surgical my opponent just to see what their hand is shaping up to be. And let me know how safe it is to tap out for prime time. I assume the answer is not safe. Let's get rid of those duresses. So my opponent is actually... So I don't think I can... I hate that, like, looking at their hand with surgical doesn't actually pop that up. That's so annoying. So that brainstorm could put them into a position where they can kill me very, very quickly, so I probably can't drop my interaction. So I need to leave up these Flusterstorms. But I am going to give myself the opportunity to spike a land and hold up Flusterstorm. Oh my god, I just rotated away my second green source. Wow, I'm an idiot. I was thinking I wanted to have a second blue to hold up Fluster. Boy, that was dumb. You would like to Thoughtseize me. I think I'll accept that. Orem, that's a great question. We probably shouldn't be. This deck list has felt very, very clunky. Like, I know I've made some mistakes throughout this, and I've been very upfront about that, but I've tripped over my own cards a lot, and I've done just, like, so much nothing. I mean, the black is for main deck Abrupt Decay and sideboard Deluge. So you want to just Infernal Tutor? I think I let that go because, like, at my end step, I can crop rotation my island into a Cloudpost, and then if I draw a land, I can Fluster and cast Ulamog. Or maybe I should just take this, accepting the fact that next turn my play is tap out for Ulamog. Yeah, I think I'm going to take that. So I'm actually going to get rid of the stuff that gives them red. So I'm going to get rid of Valk and Lotus Petal. I might not be dead, right? The Ponder has to hit something. Otherwise, they just go Thoughtseize me Tendrils, and that's 22. Damn it. That's so disappointing. Oh, I just miscounted there. Okay. All right. Well, that was impressive. So, I mean, to be kind of like frank, I don't think that this package is worth it in this shell. I don't think that the black is adding enough to the deck to make this worth it. Like, you're essentially playing Navigator's Compass for 4 cards, plus some other bonus utility with some of your lands. I don't know that this deck is better than regular blue-green Cloudpost. It certainly feels much worse than something like Eldrazi Post. So many of my draws just had just absolute clunkiness to them because, like, I was drawing partial sets of stuffs and not, like, both sides, like, show and tell plus creature, or, like, I have a bunch of mana, but then just, like, a bunch of this stuff, and I can't really do a lot with it. So I was not impressed by this deck list. Like, I understand some of the design choices that have been made, but I don't think I had a chance to win most of the games of Legacy that I was playing today. Like, I definitely made some micro misplays in multiple of my rounds, but I was never really in a position to win any of my matches. Like, even if I accept that, like, I did some things that would have cost me a game or two here or there, just, like, I went 0-5, 0-10. I just don't feel like this deck list is competitive. And it kind of sucks to say that because it's a donation deck list and everything. But if I just can't possibly beat discard decks, I don't think that this is an okay deck list to play. Like, I think many of my draws were bad and my pairings weren't good for me, but, like, if I can't beat anything playing discard, that's too much of the format. I'm really kind of disappointed that I didn't get to do, like, anything cool this entire league, because I played, like, 3 or 4 matches in the tournament practice room, and I just, like, crushed people in there because I kept getting paired against, like, fair non-discard decks. But this was a poor show of the capabilities of this deck list. So in the future, if I were to play Cloudpost decks, I would just want to play the Eldrazi Cloudpost deck that's been running around. That deck is probably very good. Probably better than Blue-Green Post, although I haven't played a ton of Blue-Green Post. But this deck is trying to jump through a lot of awkward hoops, and even some of the sideboard cards aren't that good. Like, Force of Will is a fine card to have access to, but as we saw in my games versus Ant, I just didn't have another blue card to pair with it, because I need to use my cantrips to be, like, executing my game plan. And beyond that, there aren't very many blue cards. 12 in the main deck, plus if you're bringing in Force, you're probably bringing in Fluster as well. So that's like 16, 18 blue cards, some of which you probably already used by the time you get a Force of Will. So this just did not feel powerful. Like, I'd rather be playing the Eldrazi version and have access to things like Expedition Map to tutor up more copies of Cloudpost or Eye of Ugin when I needed it. And I'd rather just have access to more disruption as well. I was basically powerless against combo decks in game 1. Like, my plan was go faster than them, and unless I have show and tell, I'm not fast. So, Lucas, thank you very much for donating, and I appreciate the donation very much. Sorry we didn't get to do very many cool things on stream, but I hope it was still enjoyable to watch me get bullied. I'm going to go ahead and be signing off for today. My next stream will be Monday evening at about 7 o'clock p.m. If you've enjoyed today's content, despite me getting bullied, please consider following, subscribing, or doing a donation deck list to see some other weird, wacky deck like this on stream. Thanks, folks. Have a good afternoon.